One of the biggest reasons why people have conflict within their life is because of the sheer fact that at a conscious or unconscious level, they do not have meaning to or for their life. Look, this is one of the biggest things that I find within not only my own life, but also with other people, whether it be on a one-on-one basis or working within, training or whatever it is the fact that people don't have meaning or haven't attached or created meaning to their life. And the number one thing that I find is that is a reason why people have conflict within their life. They come into the office, they talk to me, and they say, hey Lou, this is what is the conflict, this is what's going on within my life. And you ask a few other questions and it's like, well, hang on a second, that's not actually necessarily true, because right down underneath all the surface level stuff is the burning desire, the questions of, who am I? What am I doing here? What is it that I'm meant to be doing? What is it that I love to do? How is it that I'm actually going to do it? And these underlying questions are the things that cause the conflict within the upper levels of life. And it's very, very, very important, because if you are on a spiritual path, if you are on a journey of awakening, a journey of self-development, whatever it is, I truly believe that it is a path of mastery. It is the path of mastery. To go through those stages of life, to have massive conflict, and then you go on the hero's journey, so to speak, or the path to mastery, whatever it is that you want to call it, but you start this journey of self-discovery. You start this journey of asking different questions. You start this journey of really finding out what it is that you want to do. And it can be a fucking crazy journey. There will be absolutely the higher highs, there'll be absolutely the lower lows. But one thing that I really want you to understand is the biggest stages of people's lives that I have witnessed and also experienced myself personally, of conflict, pain, stress, resentment, negativity, whatever it is right at that point, consciously or unconsciously, when they're making or when they're asking the question, who the hell am I and what is it that I'm here to do? That is a very, very powerful void that people are trying to fill, and I get it. But here's the thing that I want you to understand, right? When you're going through this path of enlightenment, this path of spirituality, this path of self-inquiry or self-development, self-mastery, whatever 50 million different terms you want to use to label it, you got to understand that you are going to get to a path. You're going to get to a path where you have no idea what the fuck is going on. You won't know if you're real. You won't know if what you're looking at is real. You'll think, yeah, but it's all vibration. It's all just the matrix. It's all just the universe, whatever it is. And you're going to have to work your way through this path. And here is the kicker. A lot of people get lost in infinity. I've said this for many, many years. People get lost in the infinite. When you get to that stage where you start to realize that there is no meaning for life, this is a very, very weird stage to get to. People get into nihilism. They get nihilistic, which means they don't care about life. As in, life has got no meaning whatsoever. All right. And Richard Bandler, one of my real, powerful mentors that I've learned many, many things of, he said the people that have nihilism. He was at an airport one day and someone had a sign up saying, oh, there's no point to life, life is pointless, there's no meaning to life whatsoever. So the guy had a really nice black shirt on, or a black suit on, or whatever it was, and Richard Bandler got this pen and went up to him and put like this white ink pen all over it. And he's like, hey, what the hell are you doing, dude? And he's like, oh, I thought life had no meaning to it. And the guy said, yeah, well, it doesn't. He's like, oh, well, you won't need this sign anymore. Ripped his sign up. He did all these sorts of different things. And the guy got real pissed off about it. And he got real pissed off about it because there was meaning to whatever it is that he was doing. There was meaning to whatever the individual was doing. And this is what we need to realize. The meaning of life is whatever it is that the individual chooses to give to it. I said to my beautiful wife this morning, hey, is life more about death, or is it more about living? Are we living or are we dying? She's like, well, it depends on the person's perspective. Is the glass half full or half empty? Of course it does. So what do you think that when people go through life, they go through self-discovery, they go through self-mastery, all these sorts of things, and then they find out about quantum, physics, quantum theories, all these sorts of things, all the fucking things out there, right? Spirituality, blah, 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 blah. And then you get down to the bottom of the barrel because you keep digging, asking questions. What's the meaning? You do this consciously or unconsciously. and you get to the bottom of the barrel, and then you find out there is no fucking meaning. There's absolutely no meaning whatsoever. Now, many people can give meanings to it. Well, you're supposed to create, you're supposed to build, you're supposed to be a good person. Okay, cool, but that's one person's perception of it. Might not be yours. Maybe your perception of life or your meaning of life is just to have fun, to see the beauty, to see the amazement. Maybe your life is to experience the adventure of life, the ups and the downs. Maybe yours is to create something for a legacy so you can leave it behind when you cross over and go to wherever it is that you go to, right? So what I'm saying is just be very, very careful. If you're going through a really tough time at the moment, I can nearly guarantee you that some of these questions aren't being answered, that some of these voids are there, and they're the buttons that are being pushed that really get your attention. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, you need to keep going through the path to mastery, or through the the circle or the wheel of life, whatever it is you want to call it, because you need to understand that that is just one stepping stone of it. For me personally, this is what's happened for me. I got to the point, I really got to the point where I was very nihilistic. Nihilism was my daily bread and butter, right? I had no need, no want to do anything. There was no meaning to life. I was a fucking miserable, sack of you-know-what. And April would be crying right in front of my face, or maybe Frankie would be crying, and I would just have no emotion. I was so totally detached to the experience of life itself that, I just had no idea what was going on. But then some really beautiful things happened because I didn't choose to just sit there and wallow in it. I, chose to work my way through it, so to speak, and kept learning about different things and kept asking more questions. And then realistically, I got to the point where I was like, you know what, this is horseshit. And I stopped questioning. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm too tired. I'm too fucking exhausted to keep doing this sort of crap, right? And boom, that's when it all clicked. That's when it all clicked. I'm like, oh my God, there's no meaning to anything. And that is one of the biggest questions that people are asking within their life. What's the meaning of life? There is no meaning of life. And when you understand that there is no meaning of life, that then gives you the permission to create the meaning for your life. And you can do whatever it is that you want to do. It is the ultimate liberation, the ultimate freedom to sit there, take a deep breath and understand that no one has a clue what's going on. Now, we all think we know what's going on because of the sheer fact that we're living by the meaning we're given to life. But as soon as that meaning that is given to life is questioned, that's when we start getting a little bit, twitchy, right? We start getting a little bit, touchy. So think about whatever it is that you're going through right now. You're going through life. You're right in the thick of it. You're doing really well. You're doing really well, right? My perspective on the world is why isn't there more chaos in the world? And I understand fucking 2020, there's a lot of chaos. But if you really think about it, you think of all the things that you have to do in life. You got to keep hydrated. You got to have, an income. You got to pay your bills. You got to keep your house clean. You got to look after your children. You got to have a relationship. You've got to, keep yourself fit and healthy. You got to learn. You got to self-development. Blah, blah, blah. The 50 million different things. Why aren't people more crazy? Why don't people have more anxiety? Why don't people have more depression with all this sort of stuff happening? People, you and I, and everyone else out there is doing a really good job if you really think about it. Because life is it's rough in the sense of we try and figure it out. It's absolutely beautiful if you just sit there and you just experience it for what it is. And it is very, very beautiful if you can get to the point where you consciously get to choose what it is that your life means for you personally. Not for your wife, not for your husband, not for your daughters, not for your sons, not for your mother or father or brother or sister or whoever the hell it is that you hang out with, but for you personally. Then, my friends, you will have true liberation. You'll have true freedom to do the things that you want to do. And only then will you be able to take a deep breath in, you'll be able to relax, and you'll be able to see the world in a totally different way.